Okay. Email newsletters. Show of hands, who here is using email newsletters in their practice? Couple? Okay. For us, when we work with practices, we believe that this is one of the most important things that you should be doing in your practice. You know, step 3, priority 3. Is anybody aware that it costs between 5 to 10 times more to get a new patient into your practice than it is to retain an existing one? 5 to 10 times more. Now you are sitting on a patient base. You've got practice management software, yeah? You know who all of your patients are, I hope. True? You know where they live, you've got their phone numbers, and I'm hoping that you have got their email addresses or could get access to their email addresses. Think about your favourite restaurant. Do they know who you are when you walk through the door? No. Do they know where you live? Probably not. Have they got your email address? No way. So from a marketing point of view, you're sitting on a gold mine. You know your patients. And you can ask them whether they'd like to receive email newsletters. True? Did you know that one of the main reasons that patients leave a practice is because you do not stay in touch? And in the book, the stats, the survey results are all there to back this up. One of the main reasons patients leave is because they feel that you have not kept in touch, you're not communicating with them. True? Mm-hmm. Once every 6 months you might send a funny postcard. Is that staying in touch? Think about when you've got them in the chair. I bet there's so many things that you'd love to tell them, but you can't because there's not time. These are the perfect vehicle for you to be able to educate your patients, to communicate, to add value, to tell them about new things that are happening with your practice. It's absolutely critical. So many practices think about how do I get new patients in, and spend so much time and so much money, so much effort on trying to get new patients in that they forget about the existing patient base. Absolutely critical. It is one of the most proven methods of marketing and one of the most cost-effective. Really think about this. Retain those patients. Because if you can build those relationships, you build the trust. You're front of mind because you are regularly communicating with your patients, which will increase referrals because somebody in the office is saying, hey, I've just moved to the suburb, I want a dentist. I'll go, oh yeah, a dentist, fantastic. Or somebody's saying, oh, I'm getting married. They go, oh, my dentist just started doing teeth whitening. Yeah, you're front of mind, builds referrals. Reminds people to make those important appointments. Just this very, very gentle touch point. Reduces attrition, and it will ultimately increase the lifetime value of your patients and practice revenue. So I'm guessing that half of you in the room are thinking, yeah, but honestly, who is going to read an email newsletter from a dentist? Come on, I know you're there. Yeah? Really? The people that know they will need to come back in, true? Outstanding treatment plans. They know they've got to come in for the implant, but they're putting it off because they'd rather buy a new iPhone than an implant. But imagine if you could email and educate that person with, hey, implants, this is what happens if you don't get it placed, these are the risks, this is what we're doing. Do you think that might help them to book back in? And what we're seeing is people that are thinking, I need to come back in and need to come back in, receive an email and they go, oh, blimey, you haven't done it. They'll respond to the email. It's just a very soft and gentle way of being able to communicate with your existing patients. But the great thing that I love on top of this is you actually get to see who's opened your email, who's clicked. Okay? Think about if you're placing a newspaper ad, do you know how many people have opened page 5? Do you know who's read it? Do you know who's ripped it out and put it on their fridge because it was such an awesome advert from the local dentist? No idea. You get stats. And these are stats from the practices that we do email newsletters for. We are seeing that 20 to 30% of patients are opening these email newsletters. 3 to 5% are clicking every single month. Who here would like to think that every month 20 to 30% of their patients are opening an email from you? And this is an example. So this was one of our first practices that we did email newsletters from, and we're now 3 years in and he's not giving up, you know. So it's a small practice, you know, his database is 926. But look at that. On average for this list, he's getting 28.7% of people opening, on average. So the average for health, medical, dental, health and fitness is 16%. So he's blowing the numbers out of the water. Click rates, you know, who's going to read an article and who's going to click and find out more information on implants? Nearly 5%. Industry average, 2.2, okay? People are reading. You know, this is real. And this is an example of one particular email. In fact, it was the February one, so this is fresh. So 453 people opened his email. 81 clicks. Can you imagine 81 of your patients clicking on an article about implants every month? You can even see, if you love stats and this is your thing, you can see when people are opening, you can see when people are clicking. I sent out an email blast, and I don't know how many of you are on my database to promote this course. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching the clicks coming, and I'm watching who's clicking once and who's clicking twice and who's clicking 5 times. You will know who was clicking once or 5 times on an implant article. Who here, if they see Mrs. Jones clicking 5 times on the implant, is going to be phoning article, it's going to be phoning Mrs. Jones the next morning? Yeah? Do you think that might be really useful for a practice to know? And so what you get as a report is you actually say, here are the people that are clicking the most, here are the people that are opening the most. Every month. Every month. Please think about it. Question?
Are you looking at tailoring these emails, or are you doing like a mass? You said everyone wasn't in pen.
Yeah. So it depends on how deep you go. So we offer different levels of service. So we offer one which goes to everybody. We had a practice that came in today who he's just signing up with NRB. So we're going to be sucking down his database, you know, do a search on the database, right, which are your NRB patients. We're going to send a campaign targeted to them. So yes, we can do as much or as little to target. But this is, you know, this one is just a general practice. First year, implant example is real for this practice. He's in country New South Wales. He was bringing on implants into his practice. So we did 50% of the articles on general dentistry, 50% on implants. And we happened to phone him one week and we said, how's it going? And he went, really good. Guy that came in this morning, he said, thank you so much for emailing me about why I needed to come in for my implant. That's why I booked in. The patient thought that there was this personalised. In fact, it had gone to 962 people and him. Thank you so much for telling me why I needed to come back in. Another question?
What's the best time of sending out those emails? Best response?
First thing in the morning, last thing at night. So 7:30, 8 o'clock, where people are kind of on their phones thinking about things, or 5 o'clock. So anybody that's on my email, they got an email at 5 o'clock 2 days ago. 2 days ago? 3 days ago. So there's stats on best practice for all of these things.
I have a question, sorry.
Sure, sure.
Do you change how you address the patients depending on the type of practice, or do you have a sort of...
No, so everything is personalised. So we believe that every practice is different. So we don't believe in vanilla. So everything is different. So we will sit down with the practice and we'll say, okay, you're trying to do implants, your ideal patient are, you want to do a lot of children's dentistry, your cosmetics. So we will work out the mix for you. We can do tailored articles, we can do interviews where we get journalists to interview you and your practice, so you have very specific personalised posts. We can work with you to do promotions. So the mix is as complicated and personalised as you want. So some practices just go, I want cosmetic, I want paediatric, and then it's done. Some practices really want to get very personalised with specific offers. We can do as much or as little as a practice needs. So we recommend monthly, and the reality is it has to be done through a specific tool, which means legally that your patients have to have the option to unsubscribe. Start gathering email addresses now, okay? So you need to ask your patients whether they want to receive emails, true? Okay, so my recommendation, and there's a script in the book, is you start going through your patient base and you get your front desk to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, we're starting email newsletters. We're going to have offers, informative articles. Would you like to be included? Yes, thank you. Script is in the book. Just go through your database, start gathering those emails now. They need to look professional, as with all your marketing. They need to have the same look and feel as all your marketing. They need to be well-written articles, obviously. If you are thinking about writing your own, do it in bulk. Don't go, oh my God, I've got to do another email newsletter. I've got to do it this week. The pressure's too high.
Sorry, how big is an article?
An article, think 300 words.
So how many in one monthly?
We say 2 is probably all you need. We have some practices that we consult with where they've got other people doing it, and that they put too much information in. And if you receive our newsletters, I've skinnied it down and I do 1. So we test the market. So everything that we do for practices, we do for ourselves. So we won't ever roll out anything marketing-wise that we have not tried to death and know that it works ourselves. So, sorry.
How do you track conversion of those newsletters? So
How to track?
How many people phoned you as a direct response?
So we can put certain tracking things in the back of your website. So it's, analysis paralysis. You can look at so many aspects of this and who's come in and how many clicks. The reality is you should see your patient numbers go up. You should get those treatment plans booked in. We've never had a practice that started doing this that has ever stopped, true, Katie? Because no-brainer. Very, very simple, easy thing. Promotions, if promotions are right for your practice, and when I say promotions, it might be end of the year, guys, use it or lose your health fund benefits. So I'm not saying promotions being X% off teeth whitening. We have very specific, we work with practices to make sure that the promotions are tailored to your practice. But they're another amazing way of being able to promote. So tools that we love, there are so many tools out there that can do this. The one that we use is MailChimp. We use it for our own emails, we use it for our practices' emails. So if you are thinking about doing this yourselves, you need to use the right tool. You need to use a tool that allows your patients to unsubscribe. You need to comply to the anti-spam legislation. Is that all okay? and I can take more questions at the end.